The morning I opened my grandfather's final letter, everything changed. Inside was a deed to a breathtaking 3,700-acre valley that had belonged to our family for generations. Standing there, I promised myself I would protect every inch of it. I never imagined someone had already begun selling land that wasn't theirs. I spent the next few hours exploring every road my grandfather once traveled. The valley was even larger than I remembered as a child. Everything looked peaceful until I noticed fresh construction equipment ahead. That was the first sign something was terribly wrong. A brand new subdivision entrance stood in the middle of my family's valley. Bulldozers were carving roads through land I had just inherited. Large signs proudly advertised luxury home sites for sale. No one had ever asked my family for permission. The billboard claimed 42 premium lots had already been sold. I checked my property map 3 different times. Every single lot sat inside my legal boundary. Someone was selling land they never owned. Curious buyers walked into the sales office with smiles on their faces. They believed they were purchasing beautiful mountain property. None of them knew the paperwork behind those sales was deeply flawed. I realized innocent families could become victims too. Then I finally met the woman running the entire operation. She introduced herself as the HOA president with complete confidence. According to her, every acre belonged to the development. I already knew the documents in my hands told a very different story. She demanded to know why I was walking around her neighborhood. I calmly explained that my family had owned this valley for decades. She laughed and told everyone I was making up stories. The crowd began watching us in complete silence. Without raising my voice, I spread the original surveys across my truck. Every boundary line matched the official deed my grandfather had protected for years. Several buyers immediately stepped closer to examine the documents. Karen's confident smile slowly began to fade. The buyers started asking questions the sales team couldn't answer. Workers quietly stopped operating heavy equipment. Karen stepped away to make several urgent phone calls. Something told me she knew the situation was getting out of control. Within minutes, a county sheriff arrived to keep the situation peaceful. Both Karen and I handed over our paperwork for review. The deputy carefully examined every page before saying a single word. What he discovered would change the entire case. The sheriff compared both sets of documents line by line. He wasn't interested in opinions, only official records. Karen grew noticeably quieter with every page he reviewed. The buyers sensed something wasn't adding up. The sheriff suggested we verify everything at the county records office. Within minutes, the digital property maps appeared on the screen. Every official record matched my grandfather's deed. Karen's paperwork suddenly looked incomplete. The county GIS map removed every doubt. The entire valley still belonged to my family's estate. Those 42 lots had never been legally separated. The room fell completely silent. News spread to the buyers almost immediately. People wanted to know if they had purchased valid property. Questions turned into frustration. Karen suddenly had far more problems than just me. Construction slowed to a complete stop. No one wanted to continue working until ownership was confirmed. Even the contractors preferred waiting for official answers. The once busy site became unusually quiet. A meeting was arranged with attorneys from both sides. Every document was placed on the table. No one could ignore the original chain of ownership. Facts were replacing assumptions. An independent survey crew measured every boundary. Modern GPS equipment confirmed what the old surveys already showed. The legal property lines never reached the subdivision. The evidence became stronger with every measurement. New survey markers clearly outlined the true property lines. Many buyers realized their future homes sat inside my land. No one argued with the official measurements. Reality was becoming impossible to deny. Several buyers requested their deposits back. They preferred waiting until ownership questions were resolved. The excitement surrounding the project disappeared overnight. Confidence quickly turned into caution. As the sun set over the valley, I looked across the land my grandfather had trusted me to protect. The truth was finally beginning to surface. The biggest challenge was still ahead. But for the first time, I knew the facts were on my side. A few weeks later, the dispute reached the county courthouse. Both sides finally presented every deed, survey, and legal document. There was no room for rumors anymore. Only verified records would decide the outcome. The county surveyor explained every property boundary in detail. His testimony matched decades of official county records. Each explanation strengthened my family's claim. The courtroom grew noticeably quiet. The judge carefully compared the original deed with the subdivision paperwork. The chain of ownership was complete and well documented. Nothing suggested my family's title had ever been transferred. The evidence spoke for itself. The buyers listened closely as every document was explained. Many realized they had relied on inaccurate information. Their frustration was understandable. Everyone wanted a lawful solution. After reviewing all the evidence, the judge reached a decision. The court confirmed that the valley remained under my legal ownership. The disputed lots could not be treated as valid sales. Months of uncertainty finally came to an end. County officials updated the public records to reflect the ruling. Construction stayed paused while legal matters were resolved. Buyers were informed of the court's decision. Everything would move forward through proper legal channels. The valley finally felt peaceful again. I walked the same land my grandfather had protected for decades. Its future was secure once more. That was the responsibility I had inherited. I replaced the temporary entrance with a permanent ranch sign. It wasn't meant to keep people out. It simply marked the truth about who owned the property. Sometimes the simplest message says everything. Looking across thousands of acres, I remember my grandfather's advice. Protect the land with patience, honesty, and good records. That lesson proved more valuable than anything else. Some things are worth defending the right way. What began as an unexpected